Hi, this is Ken Nelson with the Tactical Performance Center. In today's whiteboard chat, we're going to talk about how vision is your gas pedal and your brake. So if we look at our reactive shooting doctrine, it's based on something called the reactive shooting cycle, where the first part is we rise, sights aligned. And pause. Rising with sights aligned as it translates to vision is so that aiming is done. When you get rising with sights aligned down, when you lift the gun, the sights are always perfect, they're always aligned. The pause is to give you the chance to transition to the next part, which is actually the only truly time variable part of this cycle. It's called see what you need to see. I'm going to come back to that. The next one, isolate the trigger. Doesn't take any time, you just have to do it right, and you have to do it in the right order. The next one, let recoil happen. You have to let the bullet leave the barrel. Again, it takes a little bit of time, hundredths of seconds, but it doesn't vary in the cycle. In terms of, do you do it once you get it, do it right? You just have to do it in the right order. It always takes the same amount of time. The next one is call shot. And after that, we have the active recovery or follow through, where we reset the trigger while the gun is still in recoil, or we're pushing it back down, and we start to find the sights again to do this again. Now, each of these things, like rise with sights aligned, I always recommend do it at the pace of pointing. That's how long it takes to do it right. Pause. The pause and the see what you need to see part is going to be very variable based on how difficult the shot is. Isolate the trigger, just do it right. Doesn't take any different time to do it right versus to do it wrong. It doesn't vary with the shot, basically. Let recoil happen, same. All right, so we have a new target that we introduced. This is the visual acceptability number 2 target. And what I'm going to do is introduce you to this concept of the pause and see what you need to see in context of the sub-targets on this target. So looking at this target, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different regions to shoot at. And I want to stress that they're a region. A lot of people make the mistake of, well, I'm going to shoot this circle, I'm going to hit it right in the middle. Or I'm going to shoot this rectangle, I'm going to shoot it right in the white line. In a regional target, your task is to hit the region. Right? And that's the first thing I want you to consider about using your vision equals the gas pedal or the brakes. Now, if I asked you, what do you need to see or feel for you to hit this whiteboard? I don't need to see anything, I can feel. I'm going to hit it 100% of the time. So when we rise with sights aligned by feel, and we broaden what we need to see to not just what we're seeing through the sights, but what we're seeing over the slide, what we're feeling through the index of our arms, through the alignment of our spine, we broaden the definition of our vision to the broadest possible thing that gets us the first hit. And what does that do? Well, the first hit wins. All right, so let's take a look at these particular targets. By the way, available on our website. Just go to the Learn Right Now, hit the printable targets submenu item, and print away. There's, 15 or 20 targets there. So we have a large circle as the first target. Now at 4 yards, which is what I'm recommending that you start shooting this target at, because that's a good distance to make this really easy and these 1-inch circles kind of hard. What do you need to see? Well, I'm going to want to see sights basically aligned. With some variation, and I'm going to try to put that in a smaller circle. Now I'm a fairly advanced shooter. My sights almost always come up aligned. So really what I'm focusing on, for me, I need to see the front sight in a smaller circle. That gives me variation and variance. I can be moving, I can be coming up fairly quickly. I'm going to get a hit every time, assuming that my trigger pull is behaving. All right? So I would basically describe this as a good sight picture on a smaller circle that's relatively steady. Now let's take it to the 2-inch circle. So we have this is a 4-inch circle, no, 5-inch circle. And now we have a 2-inch circle, just for scale. Gonna do it that way. What do we need to see there? Well, I'm gonna want to have a perfect sight picture. Absolutely perfect, equal height, equal light. Very steady, and I'm gonna want it to be inside a very small circle inside there. I need that entire thing to be basically surrounded by the gray. Now, is my pause going to be a little longer to process that? Yes, it is. Is there any delay once I see it? No, I pulled the trigger. I pulled the trigger. So here I'm stepping on the gas. Here I'm letting off the gas a little bit. Then we go into the 1-inch circle. What do we need to see there? Well, I can't even draw it because it's so small. But what I'm going to be looking at on that particular shot is the tip of my front sight that I've confirmed is perfectly aligned, and it is going to be centered and level and steady on the upper third of this circle. I'm pausing till I get that. I'm processing what I'm seeing till I get that. On this challenging a shot, I might also have decided I need to have a prepped trigger pull. It's that hard of a shot. When you put the target up, you'll see 4 yards, 5 yards on that is pretty hard. All right, so here I've gone from the gas to letting off the gas to the brakes. Now, what happens when I go from here to here? I put on the gas. So the way that I might shoot this is bop, 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 bop. Each shot gets what it's due. No more, no less. And that's the key to visually driving your way through challenging targets or different types of targets. Again, it's really easy to move at the pace of the slowest target. Oh, I'm going to start here, bop, bop, bop. But what I want you to think about is here's an opportunity to put the gas to the floor. Oh, I got to let off a little bit, and there I got to put the brakes on. But now I'm back on the gas. And that's the way that you can save time while always getting hits. And it's driven by your vision. And there's 2 things to think about that are key to this. The first is you can decide what you need to see before you need to see it. Coming up on target and trying to figure it out, you're way late. Okay, and that's true whether it's a target shooting, a competition, defensive situation. If you're early, you're going to do better, right? So that's the first thing, is that you can decide it before you need it. The second thing is that you should make it as broad as you can, up to and including feel. spinal alignment, grip alignment, to make that vision definition as broad as you can. For instance, if I were shooting the whiteboard to this, it would be ba-ba, really fast, because I don't really need to process anything, and my pause really becomes just more, does it feel right? There's no actual pause. All right, so that is your vision as a gas pedal. How I use this target? Infinite number of ways, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide first what I need to see on each of these. What do I need to see on this rectangle? Well, I have to see the sights roughly good up and down, because the error, the target is small up and down, but I have a broad definition left and right, and I just need to see it somewhere inside a smaller box. And I can decide that when I'm standing there thinking about shooting it. So the way I use this target every time I put it up is I go through and I decide with the system I'm using, Glock 43, Glock 19 with a dot, a new gun that I might be testing, what do I need to see? And I even look and decide. Then I go and present to each target, finding what I need to see, from compressed image threat usually. And then I'll start playing games where I go big circle to vertical rectangle to dot, dot to small circle back to dot. Just play games, and what you're doing is you're practicing pushing down the gas, letting off, hitting the brakes, pushing the gas, and you're turning yourself into a visual shooter that's not leaving any time on the table, but that also is ensuring that you get a hit. So the Learn Right Now menu, all this stuff is going to be there. Everything we put is up there. The targets especially are there. Go do the TPC rating, share it on social media, let people know that you're committed to becoming a better shooter. I'm Ken Nelson. I'll see you on the range.